So, this is the door to my kitchen. What you're seeing is an old lino floor that was pulled up. There goes Coco. An old lino floor that was pulled up, and I've just put down some cardboard for the moment. But the tiles here have come off. This is the back wall that is underneath the ground. So I do have some plans. I've already painted part of the panel there going upstairs, and I need to work out, I'm going to replace the carpet, and I need to work out what I want to do. So this is such a tiny kitchen, but it's very compact and I've got everything I need. This wall has been drying out, and all the tiles that are there were all over this wall, and they fell off, and I filled in lots of gaps and holes, and I've let it all dry out, and it's bone dry. So as we come into the kitchen, it's my sink, and this is, oh gosh, an old water heater, which works perfectly well, and it takes literally a couple of minutes to heat a whole tank of water. I've got this really old sink, and as we come round, I've got these laminate cupboards. I can't afford to change this kitchen, but I am going to try to revamp it this year. I've lived with it, and it's very, as I said, it's very functional. I've got everything I need. I've got my kettle and my toaster, and I've got plenty of kind of storage space above. And as we come round, this is my storage for my Emma Bridgewater cups. It's so dark in this little tiny corner of my house that I have permanent lights on all day and at night as well, just to light it up. And this cooker here was left with the house sale, and it's been perfect. It's just fitted in, and it's really easy to use, and I've just kept it until I know what I'm doing with the kitchen. But the floor, unfortunately, everybody, is cardboard at the moment. I pulled up some really bad lino, and I mean, it wasn't just a tiny bit of lino, it's like layers of different types of lino over the years that people have put down, and it was awful. So I've pulled that up, and I've let it all dry out, and this is laminate cupboards. Now, I could spray them for now, and all this panelling here, I think what I'm going to do for the moment is to paint it white, and I think it will make it very, very bright. And as I come round here, there's a plug socket for the oven. And also what I did here was I bought a bookshelf, and I made it into a very slim dresser. So on the top I've got my teapots and my tins, and underneath, and my plates in here, which fit really, really well in there. And I've got a food storage here. And this is just an old cupboard I've had for a while. And it's very slim, so it doesn't take up much room. And I put a bookshelf above it, and it just works really well as storage. Yeah, I've got my Emma Bridgewater teapots and my Emma Bridgewater tins, and yeah, and I use all the space of what I have here, and that's the secret, is just finding ways of using space. I mean, even with the plates underneath here, is such good storage space. So as I kind of zoom out, you get the idea of how tiny this is. And this is at the back of the house. So this wall here, where the boiler is, it's a water heater, is underground. There's no window, and it's an underground part of the house. Up here is the stairs going up here, and there's a window there, so it lets in some light. But this is the only light I have coming into this little kitchen. So my plan is to paint this wall here, rub it down and paint it. It's all been dried out. It was never ever damp here. It's just not damp at all, but just needed to dry out. I want to make sure that before I painted or did anything with it, it was completely dry. And since I've had the log burner downstairs, that's done the job of drying it out. And when I wash up and things like that, I just put 2 pieces of carpet down here, so it's a bit nicer on my feet. So as I swivel round, this is the other part of the kitchen, under the stairs. So this is my fridge, my microwave, and as I come up here, this is the under of the stairs. Now recently this was panelled, and underneath were these stairs, and they were rickety and old, but they were wallpapered, and then they had a panel like this on top of there. So I've recently, only last week or so, taken that panel off and taken all the flaky paint and the wallpaper off, and I was hoping to buy a new fridge, and I was buying a fridge that would fit in to this space. I wanted a bit of a fridge freezer, so I was trying to find a really small one. But since I've taken off the panelling, I've now got that space above. I've got a lot more space, and also beyond there is a little cupboard in there which I've got all my Christmas decorations, and it worked really well while I was kind of working out what I wanted to do. So I'm obviously on a budget here, and what my plan is to make that look pretty, and I want to get some new carpet for the stairs, and I want to paint this wall here for the moment. The tiles I think probably I'm going to keep for the moment until I work out what to do, and I might even paint these cupboards. I'm not sure yet, I'm going to work it out, but this was functional. I hadn't really thought about doing anything with it. The most important thing was making this house watertight, putting the log burners in, doing the chimneys, doing a tiny bit of decoration just to make it livable while I worked out what I was doing. I've been here for 2 years now, so I've made a lot of progress with the outside of the house, but now I need to do a little bit more inside. And this kitchen is a real project. I don't know if an architect came in here, what they would do with this space. I really don't know. Probably lots of people have said to me, why don't you just knock down this wall that goes into the living room and make it into like a kitchenette? I don't want to do that. I want to make it a separate room because I feel that I would lose some coziness somehow. I just make it like I don't want it open plan in a cottage. So I want to brighten it up, and I think by painting that back wall, it will definitely brighten up this kitchen. I think that will make it a lot better. So I don't know what you think, but and also I'm not sure what I'm doing with the floor yet. It still needs to be dried out. That's the thing with these old cottages. This old cottage is really old. I think it's from the 1900s, early 1900s, and it's just been left for years, for decades, of no care and no love. And when I bought it, it absolutely stank of damp. So that smell's gone now. The house is completely dried out. I had, as I said, a little bit of problem on the floor here, but it's all ripped up and gone. And now I'm just kind of drying it out and wanting to kind of make a plan for the floor. Lots of people will say, well, why don't you just kind of rip everything out? But I can't do that at the moment. I need to work out what I'm doing and save my pennies and see if I can perhaps make that back wall the main part of the kitchen. Put some cupboards there and perhaps buy a new cooker and perhaps put it there, round here. I want to change the sink into a Belfast sink, like a small Belfast sink with perhaps a nice wooden drainer. Just a typical kind of cottage style feel. I mean, at the moment, these tiles aren't awful, so I can live with them. They're not awful. And as I said, I've got everything I need here. It's very compact. And for one person, it's not a party kitchen. Not everybody comes to the kitchen and kind of hangs around because there's just no space. There's only a space for one person. And when I want to make things, I use the draining board quite a lot as a work space. And I've got this space here as well. So cooking and things like that, I usually just chop all my vegetables on this draining board. And as I said, it's worked really, really well until I'm working out what I'm doing with the space. And this Belling cooker, I don't know whether you know anything about cookers, but yeah, this Belling cooker is, in fact, very, very good. It's tiny, but it's just perfect for one person. And I think it had hardly ever been used. And so when I bought the house, I asked for it to be left because I didn't have a cooker and I didn't want to buy a cooker at the time. So it was literally brand new. It had hardly ever been used and it's just been fantastic. I don't create any steam by cooking on the top of the burners here. I tend to kind of put everything in casserole dishes. So I'll make a casserole and just layer it with all the ingredients and it goes in the oven. And I don't have the steaming kind of vegetables on the top of the oven. It's got a grill as well, which is here. So I've used the grill a lot. And there's 2 shells in the oven. So I can cook 2 things at once. Normally I would either make a casserole or something like that and then cook some vegetables for a soup. Or I use the space. Whenever it's going, I kind of use it and make the most of it. So this is the back wall. And as I said, this could be made into like a bit of a more of cupboard space. Even a dresser could go on that back wall. The cupboards are full of my different things like plates and bowls and weighing scales and things like that. I've even got a carpet cleaner inside that cupboard there. All my cleaning things are in that cupboard there. So the space, I mean, I've got enough space for one person to live here on their own. I don't know what else you'd need. The only thing I would say, and I've said this quite a lot of times to my friends, is that I miss somewhere to sit and eat. And I usually have my dinner on a tray in the front room, watching TV or just with a fire going. And I really miss setting a table and having it all laid out for dinner. That's one thing I miss. And I have thought whether or not I want a little table in the front room. I don't want to do that really. So yeah, I do miss that. I suppose if I really wanted, I could move this dresser here over on that back wall and I could put a little table here. But really, do I want to do that? To sit here in the, in this little space and have my dinner? Not really. So another plan I was thinking is that my bathroom is downstairs and it's an extension and it was put up in the 60s. And it's an extension on the house. So I thought whether or not it was possible to make that into my kitchen and to make this into like a wet room. But because of the way the pipes are going out to the septic tank, it's going to be a little bit difficult unless I got a compost toilet. And I had this as like a wet room where you walked in. There was a sliding door here, and there was a wet room here, and I tiled it completely and put a shower in the back and a toilet. But that would work, but there's such a small area this is the space between the living room and the kitchen. I'm not sure whether I would want a bathroom that wasn't kind of a bit more insulated. I don't know, not sure. But, you know, when you move into a house, you have to live in it. You have to live in it to make sure that you get everything right. Because, and also, oh my goodness, I hate this strip light. I absolutely hate it. I never ever have it on. So I've got a bit of a plan for that. I'm going to get some lights to hang down, and I've got some pretty vintage lampshades which I'm going to try to incorporate, which I think will look pretty in here. Once this wall here is painted white, this is painted white, or I'm thinking I wouldn't mind having this kind of bluish colour. I really like that. I think it would look really pretty with white. With all my Emma Bridgewater cups, my collection. Actually, that's not my collection. I've got a few more. I've got some more Christmas cups, and I've got some that put away. But yeah, that blue, I do quite like that. And I think it would look nice, this little dresser, painted blue. Yeah, I think so. I'm going to paint that wall white. I just think it's going to look pretty. I could even put like a rail or something going across here. And this is kind of wasted space above here as well, which could be used. But yeah, I don't know what an architect would do with this space. Probably amazing things. But I don't want to knock this wall down between the kitchen and the living room. I've already decided that. I just feel I need a space away from your living area. I'm not sure I like an open plan. It was okay if you've got like a loft, an American loft or something, but this is like a cosy little cottage, and I just think it's quaint, and it would suit probably a couple, but I can't imagine any more than a couple living in this house. It's very, very tiny. So yes, this is my little country cottage kitchen, and probably the tiniest kitchen ever. But I do use it, and it's functional, and that's all you need really. I'm looking forward to having a nice white Belfast sink. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, I have left this as it was and just put a few of my personal things around, and the shelf and this little dresser here. So I'd be interested to see what you would do with it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of floor I'm having even yet. I haven't thought about that. I could have a laminate floor, or I could put some slate down, but I think if I put a stone slate floor down, it might make it really cold. But I could have a runner going along. When I'm washing up, it's not going to be cold. Yeah, it's a concrete floor. So it's a blank canvas, really. I could do lino, I could do laminate, or I could do some kind of tiling. Quite fancy, actually. Slate tiles, which different shapes. I quite fancy that. But at some point, all this kitchen needs to come out. I want a country kitchen, and but at the moment, when you're watching your pennies, I think, as I said, it's functional. I could paint it white. I think the laminate, you can get special laminate paint. I hate the orange. This is the last of the orange pine type feel to this house. I've painted lots of areas. So, I'll close my door on my little country kitchen. Thank you for watching. See you soon. I'm coming back. Bye-bye for now.